Have you ever heard of the story of someone eating out of a dumpster and then all of a sudden giving away a $15,000 thing for free? Someone who's in that luxury of being able to do that? Well, yeah, that's me, and we're about to do that right now. I hope you're excited. Okay, time out. What I just did there was a hook. It's to hook you in, and if you're still here, it worked, and if you're not, you swiped away. It's not interested or not interesting to you. So I'm going to make this video here today and tell you why I'm doing it. It's a long form because I'm literally about to do the thing that I just said I was going to do, but the problem with that is you don't trust me yet, and nobody does, and nobody should, because I don't have anything to prove. Well, let me tell you one. I know that I can do this, and I've done it before in the coaching world of voice. I've taught voice, and my price for that right now is $100 for 45 minutes, which is really reasonable for my type of coaching to get you where you need to be. I can get you there fast. I'm really good at it. But it's not my passion anymore. It's something where I pivoted. And so I literally paid a $15,000 coach to do something. And I'm going through the modules and other stuff. And I'm like, I can teach this way better. And I'm going through like this part where it's 10 seconds long. And I'm like, it took me 4 hours to do this 10 seconds. And if it was broken up better and explained better, which I could do, then this would be awesome. But I don't have the credibility yet. So in reality, I want to do this thing. I'm passionate about it. I'm a real person. I'm not... Look, the reason why people do this kind of thing, because the model out there now is to do something or give something that's so high value that they feel stupid saying no to it. And then you give them value. And then after you do that, for the next group of people, then you charge for it, having all these amazing and true testimonials about what you just gave them. I have so many testimonials of teaching voice, I can do that and I can give that. So the purpose of this video is to really just, I'm about to put up a lot of content, and people are going to go to my homepage to see who this guy is giving this thing away. Is he real? Is he fake? Is he scammy? And I get that. I've been scammed out. I was pig butchered by a guy I thought was a good buddy. And this teacher did that to like 10 other teacher friends of mine and built up a 6-year relationship with everybody, did it, and then left the school. So I know how it is to not trust somebody for a lot of money. I'm going to let that sit just for a little bit because anyway, so I get it. And so I'm putting out this video right now in uncut, so you don't think anything is fake, and so you could really know who I am. And if you're like, hey, I kind of like this guy, then you'll work with me knowing that you can trust me that I'm going to actually give you this coaching program for free, which seems way too good to be true, right? Because I want your honest feedback. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple stories. Instead of me telling you, hey, I have this characteristic, I'm going to tell you a couple of stories of my life, and you can decide whether or not to like me or not like me depending on what happens in these stories. And I'm using a teleprompter because I don't have my phone in front of me, and I paid for it and never used it. Anyway, sidebar, because I want to be organized. I've already gone off script, and that's okay. So you'll see me looking down here and pushing through because I want to try to stay on task as much as possible. So this is basically what I just did was a hook. And if you're still here, it's because you're like interested in what I have to say, but you don't trust me. Or maybe you got here because like you looked at one of the things that I was pushing out and like, is this guy real? Is this guy a scammer or whatever else? Well, it's real because I don't have the passion for singing anymore. Well, I mean, I do. I love it. But I have something else I want to give to the world, and I'm just have this itch I need to fill my life. Maybe I'm going through a midlife crisis. I'm 42. Just kidding. It's not that. I want to try something else, something that's challenging. And I like to challenge myself. So here it goes. This video really isn't for selling anything other than asking for you to trust me and to come into something for free, for me to give you something that I paid so much money for, so then you can give me an honest review, but hopefully your life is empowered. And if it's not, like, be like, I hate this guy. He's dumb. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, do that. Like, I want to know so I can upgrade myself. And so I was a vocal major in college. And the reason why I kind of like this style of things, of people putting pressure and me being pressurized of helping people out, is because I've always been around this world, right? I'm an artist. So imagine being in a world where you have to give a jury at the end of the semester, and if your singing ability isn't up to par where they say you should be, then you have to do the entire semester over again. That costs thousands of dollars. It's a whole semester of college that you have to do over again because you can't graduate unless you have 8 successful juries. And that's what I did. And I went through that. So I'm used to the pressure that I have. Also, I work really well with that type of pressure. So this is one giving me pressure. Like if 1,000 people sign up for this program, then I have 1,000 people that I'm responsible for giving something to. And I work really well with that. And I've always have. Let me tell you a story. I actually, teaching middle school choir, I had 72 middle schoolers in a room in 7th and 8th grade. And if you have a middle schooler or know one, woohoo, a little bit of squirrels. And I'm not against squirrels or anything, but I do have the ability with 72 different personalities, make them all sing in harmony with the same vowel shape, in the same pitch that they're supposed to, in 4 or 5 part harmony. You know, if one person sticks out in the 72 choir, one person is singing something wrong in the wrong pitch, it completely ruins the sound. And I have completely won things with them and gotten awards and all these other things because I know how to do that with 72. No one else in the classroom, me, 72 other kids. And it was a really fun time for me. So being able to organize this and differentiate for everybody and meet everybody's needs, I'm really good at it. Because not only do I do that, but I also direct people who are top, like cutthroat lawyers from DC in a course that I direct. And that's really awesome that I can navigate through so many personalities. So I really feel as if I have the ability to do that through some of the experience that I have for the last 2 decades. So that's where I am. So the purpose of the video is introduce myself and continue doing that for real so people know that I'm not just fluff, or they could say like, I think this guy is a fluff bag or whatever else. That's a really weird thing to say to someone. Anyway, so you're going to feel how you feel. So I can take the criticism and I'm okay with it. So everything that I post pretty much after this, I'm about to post a bunch of stuff, has context because people can come back to me and work with me. Zig Ziglar says people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's my whole life. I literally hijack my own time to help other people. And I've done that before. And I just love it. It's my world that I live in. I coach teachers how to teach better in classrooms. I've done that at mentorships. I've developed curriculum. I am so good at it that I could take somebody else's curriculum and remodel and frame it for a more massive success, differentiating every step of the way. And I want you to know who I am and where I came from with all this stuff. So here's another thing. I know there's a lot of noise out there. Too many people selling dreams and coaches. And so hopefully if this doesn't work, you got it for free that I paid $15K for, but you got it for free. And that's awesome. And I want you to be able to trust me all the way through this. So it's going to be, again, raw, real uncut. And if I mess up or my wife says, hey, take out the garbage, like I'm not cutting it. I'm going to go through. And I want to do this because like I know there's a lot of perfected AI stuff and I want to, this takes a massive amount of work and I have so much limited time. Like I have to go pick up my kids in an hour from camp and I want to be with them. So I'm going to make sure that I do and model right here in this video the fact that even though I'm a kind of a perfectionist, I'm putting this out there and it's scary that I'm not cleaning it up and making it good. Imperfect action beats perfect action never realized any time of the day. So I'm not hiding behind edits. I'm just telling you the truth. Let's go. Okay, first of all, I told you that I was at middle school and I was eating out of a dumpster. I know what it's like to struggle. And I know a lot of you coming into this program know and it's going to feel the struggle. Like if you're financially strapped or you're emotionally strapped and you have something to give to the world that you don't know what that is, like that's where I want you to understand that I'm here for you. And so why this matters? Well, I learned basically resourcefulness and survival. And I'm of a mindset of I don't like to be a victim or taken advantage of, that I won't let myself. So if I go into, for example, my wife's coming down, it's going to mess me up. When I go down and I went to Ireland with €5 in my back pocket and not a ticket back to get my master's degree in music technology. And I wouldn't have known how to do that if I didn't have these experiences in middle school. And so I learned all this resourcefulness and knowing that I could survive and find a way with this experience, this awesome experience that my father and stepmom gave me of jumping in and just like, hey, look at this. We're going to find a way to do it. Now, I didn't dumpster dive out there, but I had enough confidence to do things knowing that if I was a good human and give to the world would provide back to me. And that's what I kind of did. I bartered for things and I got what I wanted. And I just really wanted that master's degree because I was going to be a professor at a university that I once attended. And that didn't work out, and I'm really glad, because when I came back from my master's degree, I realized I didn't want that. I was actually in the high school game of teaching, and I love teaching choir so much, and all these really cool things and inspiring these kids. Like I wanted to be there, and I started teaching 2 choirs after that, of one in church, and actually another 2 in the barbershop world. It was a lot of fun for me. So I realized that whenever you're down, life happens for you, not to you. And I know it's like what it's like to start from zero. So if any of you like that, you can relate, like, oh, I know what that's like, or I'm at zero now, or like I once was, and I know that this guy, I'm going to make sure that you understand that I fight for what I want. So anyway, I've always had this drive and this mentality of going forward. And so, for example, in high school, they forced me to take a study hall in my senior year. Now, in my senior year, I had 2 jobs. And I was like, I'm not taking a study hall. You can't make me. And they're like, please just trust me. And they were like, we're going to put a study hall in there. And they put their foot down and did that. And I'm so thankful that happened to me, because I think we need a break sometimes. And I wasn't giving myself a break. I was helping out, putting food on the table at my house. I was, doing other things, like helping us maintain a future of going to college or whatever else. All these things happen. It made me study hard, and it made me realize that like working isn't the only thing in life. But I was so poor from not a lot of money, I think I had the residual to want to get out of there and never do it again. And I don't know. So there it was. And so my hustle that I always had this spirit of doing, I've always worked hard. And I can tell you that, and I'm going to work hard for everybody into the program that I'm doing. So when I was in college, my best semester, and I want you to realize this, almost my hardest class was a 0 credit class I was taking in college. And it was a thing that all music majors had to take. To graduate with a undergrad degree, you have to have 120 credits. Nursing majors had to do it with 142, so 22 more than most people. Music majors, K through 12 education, had to graduate with 159 credits. Let me break that down for the kids in the back. Look, check it out. Normal people, 120 credits. Music, K through 12 education, 159. Now imagine being in a world where you're trying to be a singer, and people are always, even the most perfect performance that you do it, like, okay, let's talk about how you can upgrade. What are you talking about? That was the really perfect performance. Well, even a perfect performance can be made better. Constantly told that you're not good enough, or you could be made better, even though something was there. I'm relating to that. And I know how to do that in a positive spin to help people out so they don't feel like they're losing. And especially when you have a singer or something where it's exposed as singing, like, will you sing right now for me? Would you like get on hey, I'm going to sing to you? That's very personal. So knowing how to take something very personal to somebody and bring it somewhere, I have so much experience in that, and with so many different personalities. So the value is not to wait for approval, and it's to make my own story, even if others don't get it, and to be able to make that happen. So in college, I took 20 plus credits while working 3 jobs, while also auditing a class, and full time is 12 credits. I was taking 20 and auditing class, and I was in 17 productions, playing trumpet and performing Tobias like in Sweeney Todd, and I went to Carnegie Hall to perform there. Like, there's so many other activities that I was doing. My teacher actually had to pull me aside and said, hey, John, I want to let you know, when this all goes down, you are going to experience depression. I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, when this is all about to stop, all this thing you're doing, all these things are about to stop in a week. And next week, if you feel like you're down and depressed, it's because you've been here. And now you're going to be normal like everybody else, and you're going to feel down. And she was kind of right. My positivity spun it someplace different, but after all the tests and all the other things, after taking those 20 credits, and again, my 0 credit class was more work than my upper level education class. Crazy that I had to take a 0 credit class for that, right? So my biggest accomplishment, also I was sharing a car with my brother. So let me recap: 20 credits, auditing class, 3 jobs, sharing a car with my brother, and over 17 performances. I think the biggest accomplishment was also maintaining a steady girlfriend that I had during that time. That was an awesome semester. So I know how to. What do you think that lesson I learned out of that semester? How to manage You probably said time. Yeah. And how to work hard too, and how to make sure that I'm very focused on what needs to be worked on next. I got really good at it because of that. And that's been my whole life. The hustle. I've never just had one job. I've always had something else, which is awesome. So the normal effort of me seems to be a little bit more than other people. So during the pandemic, for example, when that pandemic hit, I was like, wait a minute, I have a kid that's about to be born, and I'm going to take as much college classes as possible during this pandemic online to get my master's plus 60, and boom, I did. Why would you not do that? And I know people just sitting around being like, I don't know what to do. Like, come on, man, like, you can do this. And that's, I don't know, I always push myself like that, and I had a love and support from everybody I've been around. I'm lucky for that. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm really thankful that I've had these experiences. And again, life happens for you, not to you. And I believe that eventually these lessons that I have has pushed me to really upgrade my game. Like, I just worked on my national board certification to be a teacher, and that'll, in Maryland, it makes me an extra $10K a month. And I went hardcore. All of the content, people break that up with 3 years. I did it in 1, and I find out in December whether I make it or not. And hopefully I do, because I love teaching, and I want to stay where I am. And again, this is my side hustle, but I don't want to call it that. I want to call it my hustle, because I have a little bit more passion. I have 20 more years in me. I'm 42. I'm about to turn 43 on Saturday from this video. And I really want to say that I'm just at a point now, like, I have so much more to give, and I want to value my time, and I want to be home with kids more, and I want to make sure that my kids don't experience what I experienced working so hard. Maybe just working hard a little bit, because it made me who I am. I think that as long as you believe that you're going to do it, faith and action is more powerful than a plan that you have, that you won't realize or take. Like, I plan to do this. Like, already today, I wanted to record 3 hours ago, but stuff got in my way of like, oh, this isn't a good video quality, or now I have this on automatic. Like, it's probably zooming in and out. Like, I just got frustrated and be like, I need to just export this or else I'm not going to do it. So here I am. I learned how to live, learn, bet on myself, find a way, other things too. I mean, my experience of living in Ireland with almost nothing, with no plane ticket back, getting to the city center for free and learning how to do that, you have to be able to be someone to convince people and to inspire people, but you don't take advantage. My rule is you don't take advantage from people who are living out there. You don't do it. The thing is, you want to make sure that you're taking care of people, and when you take care of, and whatever you put out in the universe provides back to you. I strongly believe that. I don't complain, I just adjust and I adapt. And of course, we all have our moments where we do, but that's okay. Victim thinking just keeps you stuck. Imagine if I was like, I never had, I wasn't going to go to college. I was dating this girl, and she wasn't the brightest, you get the point. You could finish the sentence. And I wasn't going to go to college because she wanted me to take a year off so she could spend more time with me. And I was like, I don't know. And a guidance counselor, I didn't know how to go to college because, my family's poor. Nobody went to college. They're poor. No one went to college. And the guidance counselor, as I was walking by, said, hey, come here. And he's like, you haven't done any kind of colleges. You need to go to college. And you're going to feel this. I was like, I'm going to take a year. He's like, no, stop. You're going to college. It's community college. And you're going to go and fill this out and bring it to me tomorrow. And I felt this thing come off my chest. I felt like this big weight off my shoulders that I was like, yeah, this is the right thing. And in my first month of college, that girl broke up with me. It was very heart-wrenching. That was crazy because, anyway, that's another story. So, oh my gosh, could you imagine, like, my life would have been shafted by this awful decision of not taking action, of increasing? Because here's another thing too. I strongly believe that wherever you are in life, when people know that you're doing something awesome, they tend to be like, oh, that's cool, you're still doing that. And they don't root for you until you're successful. They pretty much say, like, maybe you should, maybe, and they have all these opinions. It's hard to be around. I really strongly believe that when you're around, the quote, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. And is that okay? Like, do you like the people you hang out with most? Do you want to be them? Like, if you hang out with people who play golf all the time, you're eventually going to play golf. If you hang out with people who play basketball, then eventually you're just going to have basketball talk and just do that. If you hang out with people who want to break a window for fun, you're going to eventually be desensitized to that and do it yourself, thinking it's okay, or I'm just used to that. And that's with everything. So my beliefs come from all these things that I have in my life, having testimony. This is not in any of the things you see me like clicking down here on the next on the thing. This is not in. I'm pretty much not following my notes. That's okay. The purpose of this video is for you to know who I am, and for you to know what I'm about. I'm sorry if it's unfocusing here and there. I have it on automatic, and I just don't know if it's anyway. Imperfect action. So I do this thing where like a Chipotle, where you go in and you order from them. I try to give as much love on that person as possible to see what they'll do in return as we conversate. Because these people usually, they're like rice, chicken, blah, blah, blah. And they're talking to that all day long. I was like, hey. And I go in there, tough day. And they're just like, yeah. And I'm like, one time, check this out. I was in line at Chipotle, and these kids were eating on a table. And so I was in line, and I saw that these kids were like, they just left a mess. And I'm like, oh. And I looked at the guys like, did those kids just leave that mess? I looked at one of the workers that worked there. He's like, yeah. I'm like, I got out of line. I cleaned up the whole mess, put it, and got back in the line. Now, 3 people got in front of me after that, and I stood behind them. I didn't say, hey, I was here or anything. I just got behind them and put on a smile. And then at the end of the line, when I finally said, hey, like, oh, could I have that? Oh, could I have a little bit more? It looks so good. And just compliment them all the way. I do this thing where I just don't take advantage of people. I try to make them feel awesome about who they are and see what happens in return by putting out to the universe, seeing what the universe comes back to me. And so by the end of the line, they gave me a burrito that I wanted half off. And like, that's awesome because I didn't ask for that. I just wanted to see what happened if I, again, cleaned up something that they, and they appreciated that. They probably they were busy, they were having a bad day. Like, I was able to do that. So there are other times where one time I went in, here's a cool thing. I'm going to do more food. Like, again, this purpose of this video, I have to remind myself, like, stop rambling, but it's for them to know who you are. Okay, so I walked into a food place with my friend, and it was at an amusement park. And so I said, hey, do you eat here? And the guy was like, yeah. I was like, could I just have like exactly what you would make yourself? Like, just don't even ask me. I'm not allergic to anything. I'm so lucky. Just make, and there's a brisket place. I was going to, I love that. And mashed potatoes, and he picked exactly what I wanted to have. And you get lucky with that. So he like took the brisket, put it on my tray, put a big heap of the mashed potatoes, and then mac and cheese. And I was like, yeah, that's so awesome. And my friend was like, I'll take the same exact thing. So he took the brisket and he weighed it, took some off, put it on his plate. And he did the same thing with the mac and cheese, making sure it was at the scoop. And so what happened was, when I went in there, I was able to get that guy to think like himself. Like, I don't waste stuff when I make stuff for myself. He like got in that mode where he was making something for himself, for me. My plate, my friend's plate. It was half what I had. It wasn't actually that high. It was, anyway, you get the point. He was like, how do you have so much more food than me? I was like, well, I put that guy in a mental state where he was like making something for himself. And here's the thing. That might seem like, I wanted to make sure when I go in there and get people in that way, I made him feel genuinely so good about giving me food that I was so excited about. Like, he felt all day, he was just like serving kids and at this amusement park and just like go, 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 go. And I just gave him attention and just hopefully I gave him a good day. And in return, the universe provided back to me this awesome plate of food that I ate every bite, and I feel like I overate, but it was great. I kept everything in on the roller coasters. It's fine. So that's a little bit of how I think in life, and I just have this, maybe somebody thinks that's sales mentality. I naturally have that. I worked as a server for like over a decade, and selling things and knowing the more I took care of guests, the more money I get. And I was reinforced with that restaurant behavior 10, 15 years. So much in fact that I became a server trainer and a leader everywhere I've ever been. So this is where I am. Give to the world and the world gives back to you. I think that in a couple of these things of me, of what I'm talking about, the hard times that you have in life really create your origin stories. And I had a lot of that in my life. So coming back to what you're about to see from me, of me actually joining a $15,000 coaching program and being like this, like how come this 10 seconds has taken me 4 hours to do? Like, and they should be breaking it down. Like I didn't understand this, and the flow was different. And I felt like if I asked them, like, well, you just look at the resources, what I always got, like 15,000 for that. Like you shouldn't be paying $15,000 for that kind of stuff. You should have everything automated. So I had this community that I'm building, and I'm going forward with building this community to help provide value for people, so they in turn give an honest feedback. And if it doesn't work, at least I got to hang out with cool people. And you know, I'm not even gonna say that. You see, I have some self-doubt, but that's who I am. I want to make it work. You know what happens when I get in that mindset? I'm like, no, I'm gonna make this work. Just like when I went to Ireland for my master's degree. Everything I do in life, I take notes, I practice it, and I imagine what it would be like to teach it. And that's what teachers naturally do. And so things in my life, there's another thing I like to do in my life. When I have a class and they come in and it's an awful class, like the first 5 minutes, I mean, what is going on? I make everybody get out of my room again. I'm like, we're going to re-enter. And I have them re-enter, and I do it differently, and I restart the class. And when that happens, knowing that the class was completely different, I blame myself when things go wrong rather than blaming other people first. I think that's a big characteristic that people should have in their lives, because knowing like the first setup, like whatever I did at the beginning to hook you into here, or I mean, even if you're still here or don't care who I am, this is just a rant about me. And I guess I haven't made about you a lot, but have you ever had these things happen to you? Have you ever been tough? Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like you can't get out and you feel trapped? Those things are very real, and I get them too. But the thing is that I get to do is I get to have hindsight on all the times that I did make it through, that I did push through. And it was hard doing all these things. But have you noticed that the things that you experience in life, when you look back at how hard something was, when you like broke through it, how romantically you kind of think about that? Like, man, that was a lot of growth I had. And at the time that you were having it, it was really hard. I'm not going to say who, but I know someone very close to me. She was in a situation with a boss, and this boss, you know, a good coach, how a good coach is like for like sports, is like, hey, if the team lost that day, a good coach would be like, it's my fault. I need to get him training more. I need to do this, blah, blah, blah. But if it's a good night in the basketball team won, the coach is like, they are great players. They are awesome. So when they win, the coach gives the credit to the players. But when they lose, the coach say it's my fault. There was a person who my wife was working with, like very almost equal, that this person, whenever something was going down in a wrong way, they would blame everybody else, bringing people down. And whenever something was awesome, they credit themselves. Like, could you imagine being in that situation now? Maybe you're at a job like that now. Maybe you're still here because you actually are interested in that $15,000 coaching program. Well, I'm turning everything I learned in my life, from serving the tables to going through hard times to learning what it's like to gain control of a classroom that went out of control, to having 72 people in class, to all these things. I don't know if I told that story or not, about having to acquire 72 kids, me versus 72. If I did, I'm just going to say it again because I'm not editing this, and I went off script. I had 72 kids in my class, and getting 72 kids who some people didn't want to be there because it was kind of like audition, but kind of also wasn't. I put those together to win awards and to go out there and be on the same page and have this value. I know how to differentiate, right? And I told you about the choir. Anyway, if I'm saying this again, you're just like, I mean, you already said that. I went off script. That's just who I am. But I hope it whatever provides value. If one person sings out of tune in 72 with the wrong vowel space and the wrong posture and the wrong timbre, that means tone color, like, it's going to mess up the sound. And so I know how to be able to build that. I'm doing this, what I know how to do, knowing how to teach, knowing how to coach, knowing how to differentiate, knowing how to take something that you're supposed to do, not give you a 40-minute video, and break it down for you in every step of the way. Like, this, you're going to make a web page. Here you go. Here's how you do it. 40 minutes. You don't want that. You want, here's the first header. You want to be able to say, okay, this section is the header only. You want your header to say this, you want it to do this, and you want this type of impact. And working on it, and then you could check off that you did that and go to the next course. It shouldn't be one giant course that you have to pause and then you have to go because something happened. And you have to remember I was at 10 minutes in, but Like, really, was I? That's so confusing. I know how to break something down so clear, and I don't have any reputation for that. I have it for singing. You want to come and sing with me? I have another community for that. But I want to treat this not only that, but I also want to weed people out in the sense of, like, if you don't like me, then you shouldn't work with me. You should probably work with another coach. I want to make sure that happens too, so you feel confident in what you're doing. So I'm turning everything I learned into something for free for people who are ready to go all in. And so I'm giving away pretty much almost 2 months of coaching in my school community 100% for free. But there is a little bit of a catch. You know how you have a good friend and you provide value for that friend, and hopefully that friend provides value? I want to be able to approach it that kind of way. And all I'm asking for is one thing. There's a book launch. I'm only doing this till August 15th. There's a book launch out there where I want to be on the top 10 affiliate list. And right now there's 600 people. That is the minimum for. Okay, there's top 10 spots. The first person has 4,500. The bottom spot has like 600. I'm going to work so hard every day to try to beat that, to try to be in the top 10, because I not only want to provide that 15,000, I want to be able to have that trophy that I have to say I hung out with these very high coaches who, it's Alex Hormozi. I'm going to talk about it all over. And however you feel about that, I know that one time when I was down, a coach in my life, it was Tony Robbins. I was driving down the road and this person honked at me. And I was like 20 at this point. This person honked at me. Like, I didn't do anything. They honked at me. I was turning. Beep. I'm like, what the? And I'm driving. And then I was turning another corner, and it's not a happy beep. It's like beep. So I'm turning again, beep. And I'm like, who's honking at me? I was so angry. And I'm in my car because, we're different people when we're in our car. And I'm looking down, and I'm actually honking at myself. Have you ever been so embarrassed about something and nobody else is around, but you should be so embarrassed that you turn red and embarrassed yourself in front of yourself? That happened. And I realized I had a couple of things that I needed to pent up, and Tony Robbins talked me off that ledge. I believe in coaches. I believe in life change. My life has changed. Tony Robbins will never know it. I haven't met him. I haven't made the money to be able to meet him. But like his book, Awaken the Giant Within, like just reframed everything who I was, and I finally found something. If working with someone like me feels inspiring to you or anything else, that's great. I want to hang out with people who are awesome, and then learn to do what they do at a very high level and bring that to other people, because that's what I've always done in my life. That's all I know. And through education, which coaches do. And so I'm trying to right now be the top 10 affiliates. And if I fail at it, then people can laugh at me, but at least I tried, right? If I don't try, then I can't do it. And I have a week to do that. On August 15th, that's the cutoff date. If anybody signs up with me on, just all you have to do is say, I'm going to Alex Hormozi's book event. That's all you have to do is say yes. And I will give you a $15,000 coaching program, work with you 2 months. And I'm doing that so I can get the value of your testimony of whether I was good or not, so I can actually turn it into a high ticket thing that I would eventually charge the $10,000 to $15,000 for. Having proof in your testimony. It's kind of a win-win, right? And if I didn't have that counselor say, hey, you're going to college, and catch me at the right time, and I was at the right time and right place with him, then I wouldn't have been able to be where I am now, which I love where I am now. Anyway, if I get there and I meet them, I'm going to bring all that value back. And not only that, affiliates of this course, I already have the affiliate link. Whoever signs up with my link is going to get all the extra affiliate stuff that I'm going to get. So if you've ever been in a rock bottom place, and if you know that you have something more to give, if you've ever been underestimated and where somebody didn't believe in you, if you ever believe that life can get better, and if you just can beat on yourself all the time, I've been there. I remember I went into a principal to student teach at a school that was my alumni. I went in there and we had such a great conversation. I was so excited to work with my band director and learn how to teach with him. The next day I walked in my university and I got called into the office of the people who was in charge of giving people. And he said, hey, you messed up. This principal called and said, you are not allowed to step in that school. And for 20 years, it wasn't until like last year when I was talking to my band director who I had in high school, and he's like, oh no, wait, that principal did that to you? No, that principal got fired. He wasn't allowed to be on the computer. without having it facing the secretaries because he actually would play games all day and wouldn't do anything. That principal, and I found out when he got to the bottom of it, I found that he made that call to my university blaming me when I thought that he took that away from me of being able to study with somebody I looked up to so much, and was my high school teacher. Who's that person for you, right? I'm sure you have one. He took that away from me and blamed me because he didn't want to have someone like me in his school, because he didn't want more eyeballs on him, and the university would have put eyeballs on him. If you've ever been in these situations like this, it taught me a lot. It taught me that sometimes other people's opinions about you really is just they're trying to protect themselves. And if you're ready to be in a place where I know that and I can help you and then be able to bring you out of there, check the description or pinned comment or anything else. Sign up using an affiliate link. I'm going to take your email, and then I'm going to take it and then email you the free school that you can go to that you'll be free for there, and I can teach you this program. And I'm starting on August 19th, but I'm cutting off the deadline on August 15th. So I'll get your email, your sign up. I'll send you the invite by the end of the day, and after that you'll get 2 free months inside the school group where I walk you through micro step by micro step, so you don't feel like it's hard to do, and of something $15,000 that I paid for. It's real, it's raw like this video, and I'm doing this to prove that good people can lead with their heart, and you're good people, and good people should hang out with good people. I'm doing this to prove it to myself, and it's just something else I want to do in life, and I've always been successful at something I wanted to achieve. I've gotten it, and I've been a go-getter about it, and now it's time for me to do it on something else. And this is my next journey that I can't wait to talk about. So that's who I am. If anything I said resonated with you, or if you like my personality or feel like it's something that you could work with, like, please let me. And I'm really afraid of people. I'm not afraid of people saying bad things about me. There are going to be people here who don't like me. I get that, but at least I know this, that experience is never at the mercy of someone's opinion. And my experience of helping people has been very real to me, and that's who I am. And I hope that you understand that since I'm doing this new model of trying to get testimonies, that this free thing, I want it to turn into something, and I'm on that journey, and I want you to be on that journey with me. And if that sounds good to you, and if I'm someone you want to work with, join.